Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today in this demonstration of how you can use PLM to control your BOMs and the lifecycle changes they go through. We'll be using Fusion360 Manage. It's Autodesk PLM software to show how you can break down the silos in your company and bring everyone into the change order process. We love our acronyms here, and there's a few you'll hear a bunch. I'll lay them out now for you. I'll be using the term PLM, or Product Lifecycle Management, which is the overarching way product data is maintained in an organization. And this is as opposed to PDM, or the Product Document Management, like Vault, with a check-in and check-out capabilities. Also, your company may use engineering changes, may use terms like ECs or ECRs or ECNs, but I'll be using the term ECL throughout. Let's just start with some introductions. My name is Jeremy Smith. I'm a mechanical engineer and solutions consultant here at Imaginet. My focus is PLM and system integrations. I have 20 years of product design and manufacturing experience with stints in water treatment, ozone generation, architectural lighting, and commercial restaurant equipment even. And I've also done some time making websites, programming .NET, and doing system administration in Amazon Web Services. And the reason why I say all this is because the common thing across all these endeavors is that I get to use technology to create solutions that help company improve their business processes. And in fact, that's what brought me to PLM. And this is where PLM and Fusion Manage really shine, in that it's a great platform to gather data and create workflows for a variety of business needs. It's not just engineering. But today we'll be focusing on the engineering portion. A little bit about Imaginet first. Imaginet is a Autodesk Platinum partner with 40-something locations and over 400 employees. I myself have been with the company for close to 2 years now. We focus on using technology to solve problems across a variety of industries, as well as training users in those applications. And as you can see from the specializations here, if you make, design, or build something, we can help. A few tidbits about Autodesk, because I'll be using Fusion360 Manage, which is their PLM solution product, which usually works hand in hand with Vault as the PDM product. Fusion Manage was formerly called Fusion Lifecycle, which you may have heard of or seen in the past. And since no two companies are the same, Fusion Manage is highly customizable. It's also very powerful because using its API, you can connect to Vault or other systems like ERPs and CRMs. It really creates a complete cradle-to-grave lifecycle solution, in my opinion. Here's an overview of a common order-to-cash process and where PLM fits in. Everyone is doing PLM, I find, even if you don't have a PLM system, if you make something, you have a product and it has a life cycle. The thing is, it's usually in spreadsheets and folders and emails and pretty disparate. Having a PLM software functions as a single source of truth for the product and the parts and documents that make them up. In general, PLM systems span across the entire product lifecycle, from upstream sales to downstream aftermarket service. And it can also connect to other common SaaS or even locally hosted server platforms. And since so many departments rely on this info, Manage excels at automating these workflows and the data related to them. It helps really keep the departments connected, keeps everyone current and all the moving pieces. And while Manage is used for everything that you see here, from MPI to quality, we're going to focus on the BOM management portion of the product for this particular webinar. So, when we say and when we call BOMs the backbone of your product, they truly are. You know, when you go through a development cycle of a new product, you create a lot of information, a lot of variety of parts or different parts or scenarios. And I mean, it's just not even new products. Existing products use a lot of different design tools. CAD for design, spreadsheets for quotes and costs, something else for your FEA and test analysis. As an engineer, I'm fascinated with this process, since engineering is usually the middleman between sales and production, or the product and the manufacturer. The easier it is to relay accurate product information, both upstream and downstream, the better the product will be, in my opinion. And that's what I found, and that's why I like Fusion, and that's why I like PLM. And you know, PLM helps to build a sleeker and more streamlined process, reduce time to market. And also, you know, it never stops. Bill of material management never ends, even when the part's obsolete. In a survey that Autodesk did a couple of years ago, you know, we see that BOM management and managing change are the two biggest challenges facing companies today. I assume you're here because it's something you're also facing, and you can take solace that you're not alone. So, you know, enough of this. Let's fire up Fusion Manage and see how it can help with all these moving parts. All right. So getting into it here, this is Fusion360 Manage. As you'll see, it's a web-based SaaS platform. Anywhere you have an internet connection, you can log in. And the best way to think about it from a 30,000-foot view, well, let me, before I get there, I'll start here, is that when you land, there's a whole bunch, everyone will see something different here. And a lot of it is your outstanding work and your bookmarks. So any approvals or tasks that you have to do are right here on the landing page, which is very nice. And from there, it's basically broken up into workspaces. What I'm demonstrating right here is a new tenant that Autodesk has just released in July, and it completely rethinks how items and BOMs and change orders are done. So you may have seen some of this in the past. This is completely new and a lot of creative ways to think about it. So as you can see, workspaces are kind of broken up into departmental areas, and there's a lot here out of the box. Everything from, you know, portfolio management and products to the change management, which has workspaces, to supply chain and quality. Obviously, we're going to focus on the BOMs, the items and BOMs, and change management and the change orders. You can see here there is the ability to do problems reports, which may spark a change request, which may then initiate a change order. And a lot of different, again, you know, I've talked about PLM being really great for processes. If these are processes within your company, right here, they're out of the box and can be used or customized to fit your needs. We're going to focus on the change orders though in this particular instance. But starting first with the items and BOMs area, when you come in, you see all the records, a record view of all the items that are in the system. If you click one here, it brings up the information that's specific to that part. I'm actually going to go back and look at a good part here, an overall assembly, this top level 3D printer. This is the top level with the packaging, the part in it. This is basically what's getting shipped out to retail. Every workspace is made up of these tabs. The important thing here is the information that you're gathering on this item itself. So this is the part number, information on it. You know, you can have images, and then there's nice information on details. You can have material information, the weight, simple visual, nice icons for the type, which you'll see later helps a lot in BOMs. Make or buy, if it's an off-the-shelf item, you can have the manufacturer's part number right here with the manufacturer and the preferred vendor for that. QIPs are quality inspection protocols, which would be linked here. If every time this has to go through the same quality inspection, it would be linked so that the same consistent work is done, and the same checklist goes through when you run it through QC. You can track dimensions of the part. You can track compliance here, and again, nice visual representation of the same information. Sourcing, there's a couple, this expands beyond here too, also where you can see an approved manufacturers list up here, and we'll get to that. This allows you to track information about the unit cost and the lead time for it. And if you are linked to your ERP system, you can have a synced, constant, up to date, and current cost from the ERP based on the last PO sent out for it. So this is the information that's captured with all these parts. I know we're talking about the bill of materials. We'll get to that in a minute. Just want to cover a couple of the other things that are here that are definitely pretty useful. Is the ability to have attachments to this part. In this particular case, these are related attachments to some of the components that are in the BOM here. So if BOM components have attachments, they show up related. So you don't have to go digging too far, not a lot of clicks, all right here readily available. One thing I think is pretty slick is the ability to have the inline viewer here for the attachments. So somebody on the floor could take a better look if the drawing that they have doesn't give them the view that they really need to see what's going on. We have the ability to measure. You have the ability to do markups. A lot of other things here just built right inside in the web-based viewer. I definitely think that's pretty slick right there. We have a approved manufacturers list, which allows the ability to have multiple manufacturers here for the component. And so that, you may get a screw from McMaster-Carr or Fastenal. You can have them both here with that information. These are actually linked to a whole nother workspace called manufacturer's part number. So here's where you'd be able to track multiple part numbers and how they're related to your internal part number or assembly. To show how that works a little bit, we could say that, let's go over here in the manufacturer's part numbers. Here. So if you have a part number here and you add a reference for this part number to this top level, it should eventually, after approval, will show up over here in your approved manufacturers list. This approval has already been done through, so it won't in this particular case. But as you're adding new manufacturers' part numbers and they get approved, they will be linked to here and then show up here. Related changes are any ECOs that this part may have gone through, and we're going to run this one. We're going to run one through to show how that works. And what also is pretty slick here is the ability to have relationships or references to other things. So if you have, for instance, for this assembly, you have work instructions or test analysis or other links to other documents, they could be done right here with a quick breadcrumb trail. So again, less digging, more ready available information, helps everyone get what they need quicker, and more time doing and less time searching. And then finally, a change log with a very detailed system generated breadcrumb trail of everything that's happened to this part itself. So, but let's jump into why we're really here and the BOM. So this is the top level of this printer in the packaging. And as you can see, it's made up in a tree view and a nested view of sub-assemblies. Here's the actual printer itself and the packaging assembly and other components. If I open up this printer itself, close down some of these. See here, this would be the printer. Again, same detail information and everything that we covered. And here, which is again very nice, is the where used, which shows that it is being used in this upper top level. If this was used in multiple BOMs, it would all be readily available right here. And this itself has its own bill of materials. What you can do with this bill of materials, there's a lot of stuff you could do in this tab. You can export this. You can download all attachments. So every single attachment that's attached to all your parts can be very quickly downloaded as one big package, saving a lot of time there. You know, you can collapse all of this or expand them all out, which I won't do because it take a while to load, but you can. And similarly, which is very nice over here, is that you can go from your nested view to a flat view, which flattens this all out. There's a lot of parts in here. We'll go back to the nested view. Another thing that I geek out on in here, actually, before we get into that, I'll cover this, is as you go across, is the things you would expect to see in a BOM. Here's that icon I pointed out. This basically means it's a manufactured part, and I think we have some electrical down here, even software in this case. You have the revision of the child components. Here, you have the ability to do revision pinning. And what that means is, let's just say in the future, this part right here gets revised from A to B. You could actually pin this so that's always Rev A in this assembly. The rest of everywhere else it's used, it could roll a B, but you always want it to be A here. This shows you if any of these components are going through a change order on some other change. That's what that highlight is, the change pending. This is if there's attachments. We have then the concept of the life cycle, you know, the quantity you expect to see in a BOM and the unit of measure. Now this is, I do geek out a little bit on this, is that there are different views to this BOM. So it's all the same BOM. The BOM doesn't change, but we show different information in different fields from the parts itself. So let's just say if this part is being exported, this shows different information about the compliance information, which may be important to a different stakeholder. Again, we're trying to tie all the departments together with this and give them the information that they need, that they find important. Technical details may be important to shipping, because in this case, it gives the dimensions of and material and weight of all the components. Also does a very nice thing of rolling it all up to a total weight that saves a lot of time. I think you know, you can get that from your CAD roll up, but it doesn't include packaging. It doesn't include some of the other things that you're putting in there, maybe a bunch of styrofoam. So this again gives a better, more detailed, more accurate view of your BOM, and is readily digestible for whatever user is in here utilizing it. And then even sourcing, who has different concerns about what they want to see. They want to see the manufacturer's part number for these items that they may be ordering, or if it's a make buy, in order to release work, you know, work orders to the floor to build something. And a bit more costing information that's important to them, but not so important perhaps to engineering and lead times. So this is great. Like I said, it's all the same BOM. The quantity and things don't change. It's just metadata being showed differently. So that covers, you know, the BOM and the view and the beginning of what the webinar is supposed to be about. But We're also talking about how BOMs are constantly changing or almost constantly changing, and what does that mean, and how do you tackle that challenge? And so what we do in Fusion 360 Manage is we run things through their change orders. In this particular case, this had a related change order right here that at one time rolled it from Rev A to Rev B. So let's just say now that we've decided that we need to rev this again. And in this particular case, we'll do something pretty simple in that we will change, I will edit this BOM, and quantity 0 doesn't make any sense. We'll make this quantity 1, and we'll save it. So this working version out here, there's a working, and you can consider it checked out version in quotes. There's been some changes to this, and so now we need to run that through our change order process. So I'll go to change management, change orders, create a new change order, and I'll just call this updated quantity. Quick description. There are change templates, which are nice. What these change templates do is allow you to assign people consistently and assign tasks consistently for your change order. In this particular case, I'll pick the mechanical change template. Give it a high priority. Just type in some stuff for that. Change reason code. This is really nice for reports and documenting. You know, as we know, things that get measured get done. So we will do that as a functional fix. There's information here that we can fill out for, you know, the overarching product and risk and root cause for why we're doing this. And the affected item, I'll actually use this tab for in this particular case. And if I hit save, we now have a new change order. Nothing has been, there's no affected items attached to this, but when I picked this template, it filled myself out as the required person to do the approvals. There's also a lot of nice KPIs that start to get filled out with this as this runs through its process. So I'll go to the affected items and I'll add the 0004, I believe it was. I will add this item that we've just updated the BOM on. And right now, edit. We are going to roll this. It's not going obsolete. We're just running a production revision on it, which should go from B to C. There's also some other things we can record here. What changes being performed, more information, but this is where it's most useful for disposition type information. We're just, I don't say we're reworking something. 10 in stock to be reworked. And they are in bin location. That's what location is the bin location. And this is going to cost us about $40 to rework these. And if we save, we see that it says that, hey, at the end of this change order, this item will roll to Rev C from its Rev B. This has more information that, again, brings multiple departments together so everyone can look at the cost to do this and any other of the moving parts that are happening as part of this change order. So I have this item connected here, and we can actually, at this stage, add a task for somebody to do. And in this case, we'll just say that somebody has to actually do this rework out on the floor. We can assign a person for the task. Target start date would be today. We'd like the rework done tomorrow. If I hit save, we have a task in here. Now, What's great about PLM is these workflows. So this is the out-of-the-box engineering change workflow. Again, this could be completely customized to fit your needs. And in fact, most people do, but this is a great out-of-the-box starting point. So you can see this has been prepared. We can submit it to a fast track without tasks, the only way to do it, or we could initiate these tasks and start this workflow. This should go through without any warnings, and it does. At which point, these tasks that we had in here get added to this schedule. We now have a very nice Gantt style view of all the tasks that need to be done as part of this change order. With the tasks themselves created in their own change task workspace. Lots of information to digest here, and you know, for the sake of time, I will run through it pretty quickly, but there's a single task. I've gotten an email, since I'm this person, that I have a task to do, and with a link in the email that comes back over to here. And I was like, okay, I have a task. I have to do this. So if I look at the workflow, I've been assigned. All right, I acknowledge this is my task. I have to go do this disposition and rework these things on the floor. All right, I'm out. I go to the floor. It's in process. I'm doing it. If we look back over here, this has been assigned. Everything is interlinked and tied together. This is now in work. It knows that this task over here is in work. I am now done with the rework out on the floor, and I can confirm my task is complete. Or no, sorry, it's in review for my supervisor to take a look at. If we go back over here, the reviewer, it happens to just be me because the only way to do this, but it could, you know, it could be the supervisor. They come in and can approve the fact that I did the work I was supposed to. At which point, this workflow back here, I can show on the schedule, has been completed. And the approval workflow is smart enough to know that, hey, all the tasks that were listed here in the schedule are now done. This whole ECO is ready for a review. I can add more tasks if it comes up during this, or as the engineering manager, I can submit this to the change review control board. Jumping back, you know, we have a status that this is equivalent to what we were looking at over here in the workflow, just in a much nicer view. And as we're doing each of these things, these dates are being filled out. We're getting KPIs that help us make better business decisions. And you can also see the approvers are being moved in and out of remaining or completed by. Right now, I'm still remaining to approve this actual CCB review stage. And we have even some effort tracking down here, which would be hours for the tasks. So that we could do, you know, a minimal amount of resource planning with this, and then more KPIs. If you want to go back here and this change control review board, if we reject this and it goes through this cycle several times, which is actually pretty common, this is all being tracked, and we can track that here. Again, better information to make better business decisions. So I'm part of the CCB review board right here, and this engineering change looks pretty good to me. I think everyone's done what they need to. I can approve it, confirm, which then goes to release process here. There's maybe some additional steps that need to happen. Maybe the ERP at this stage, when it's released, the documentation in the ERP has to get updated so the vendors get the new drawing, or the inventory has to be adjusted from that rework. There's another step to finish out from the review to the actual implementation tasks that are needed to get done. In this case, I'll confirm that those tasks have been done. And now this ECO is fully implemented. Go back here, see everything's green and looking good. Task projects, the tasks are one-to-one. Everyone's been completed. And we have a lot of nice dates and durations here to run our reports off of. Finally, the crux of the biscuit is that if we go to our affected items and open up this assembly, we now see that there is a Rev C of this. And so right here, through all of these changes, the S is for superseded, in the same place, we can look at, hey, this is what the BOM looked like for A, or this was the information at Rev A, Rev B, and Rev C, all in one place. And to expand upon that, I saved this part for last, is that if we go to the bill of materials, back here, the one thing I didn't show with these is this little gear, is that with this, we could do a BOM compare right in the system, where if I wanted to, I could compare Rev B to Rev C. If I hit OK, we can see right here that, scroll across, that this quantity went from 0 to 1 between the two. So the stuff in blue are additions and the stuff in red and crossed out are deletions. Really nice that you can get this type of view as a comparison here. Saves a lot of Excel work. And if you wanted to even, you could actually compare between two different BOMs. Something like this. This is probably going to give a lot of blues and reds because they're completely different BOMs, but you can also compare two different BOMs. Let me close this out. So that finishes my review. I'm pretty sure that does. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Go back to our related changes. The related change is done, and that is it. Yeah, so that would cover my review of Fusion 360 Manage and the two workspaces, the items and BOMs workspace and the change order workspace. To summarize, again, this is out of the box. This is new out of the box and is completely customizable. So these fields, you can add fields, change fields, add sections, permissions. You can control permissions for who does all of this. And when it comes to these change orders, over here, the same thing. This workflow, states can be added, transitions can be added and removed, and these tasks and task planning and schedules can all be automatically filled out. If you do the same task for every ECO, they could be assigned to this template. The people in the tasks can be automatically put here to save a ton of data entry and clicking and provide a much more consistent workflow.